All right, we are live, everybody. I see we have a couple people that are viewing in the chat room, and right now you are just seeing the Inside Out motion poster that they revealed. We're going to get started here in just a moment. Tonight we're going to be joined by two individuals that are going to be talking with us in the panel, as well as myself and Julie will be talking as well. And let's see. So yeah, we're excited, obviously, to start talking about the Inside Out trailer, the teaser trailer that was revealed today. So hello, everybody. You're now seeing us. We're going to be trying a few additional things as far as to watch the trailer as well. We've tested it out. It didn't necessarily work in the initial test, but we're going to go ahead and see what happens if we do it in the actual live environment. So either way, joined first of all by our regular friend Dan Taylor, Dan the Pixar fan. So Dan, say hello.
Hey everyone.
All right, and Dan, your website again, just remind everybody at the top of the hour.
DanThePixarFan.com.
And what do you cover?
Yeah, my site covers all of my personal collection. I post something every day from my collection and give a little review and some details on where to find it. And then my Twitter and Instagram also includes all the latest Pixar news, like today's trailer.
Absolutely, and those links, as far as to all your social media, are on your website, correct?
Right.
Fantastic. And additionally, we are joined by a new guest, but it's somebody that we have been talking with multiple and many times, all the way back from the Partysaurus Rex days, because she loved Partysaurus Rex as well. And then Brave. In fact, we probably talked as far as in Brave as well, but really Partysaurus Rex is where everything kicked off, and we really got to know each other. Is Mrs. Lauren Cacciatore. So Lauren, say hello.
Hi, guys.
Yeah, so Lauren, you are... Give us a little bit of a background on yourself. You are... how long have you been a Pixar fan? What's your favorite Pixar movie? That kind of stuff.
So I've been a fan for Pixar ever since I was little. Toy Story 2 was my first movie in theaters. And I am a senior, so that's all exciting. And I can't wait to work for Pixar one day.
Oh, so she's cocky. She's just throwing it out there. So what would your ideal role at Pixar be then?
I want to be a film editor.
Ooh.
Okay. And how did you come across that editing was the right choice for you?
Well, in middle school, we made like a lot of videos because our school is a Mac school, so we all get MacBooks. And I was fooling around with iMovie, and somebody's like, "You should do that." I'm like, "That's a good idea."
That's awesome.
I can't draw, so.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing is you don't necessarily need to know how to do that for editing. So
True.
So that's great. So Dan, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
Let's just say that you're going to work at Pixar. What position do you hold in your ideal dream world?
Oh man. in my dream world, and it's happened quite a few times in my dreams, it would probably be somewhere in story. It'd be so cool to just sit around with your fellow story people and bounce ideas off each other and think of these ingenious stories that they come up with.
I know, it's just wild to think about how the storyboards all bounce back and forth and how they have to...
Storyboards, the brainstorming meetings, all that kind of stuff. It'd just be so fun.
Yeah, it'd be wild for sure. I know that's
like my wheelhouse. I would love to be, well, I'm like crazy about story and storyboarding since, Kelsey's class for the MU press day, but I would also really like to do like the maquettes, like make the little statues.
That's cool.
Ever since I did that whole Partysaurus Rex thing, I'm like, you know what? If I'm not making toys, I think maybe I could make those little things.
Yeah, I'm no artist by any means as far as drawing, so couldn't do the animator thing, but I would love to do anything from story to editing, anything that doesn't require animation.
Yeah, well, see, you're not even drawing necessarily as an animator. You essentially have a character rig that's built for you, and you're moving avars and other points on them to you being the actor. So really what you need to do is be a great actor.
Yeah, I still can do it, though. I don't think... it still requires talents beyond myself.
Well, not with that attitude. So anyways, so we are here to talk about the Inside Out trailer that was revealed today. Now that we've got kind of some of the introductions out of the way, there is one other little housekeeping thing that I wanted to get out of the way, which was a couple things. Number one, we had alluded to what was your dream job. Thank you, Lauren, for bringing that up, and as far as saying, you know, that you wanted to work there, so we could kick right into it. And then Dan's story, talking about Julian's story. Tomorrow we will be releasing the next episode of our Pixar Post Pipeline podcast, as far as the interview is part of the pipeline for the podcast. So episode 32 will be with Angelique Reich of the lighting department, and that would be what I would consider to be my first choice as far as a department if I was going to throw something out there to work in. So.
Oh yeah, he was geeking out.
Oh yeah, big time. I was big time going crazy. I mean, here, go ahead and grab that light book.
Yeah, but too far.
Okay. Anyways, yeah. So I mean, I have all these different kind of lighting books and science behind it. So great information that's going to be coming out with that tomorrow. Angelique was actually the lighting lead on Inside Out, and she didn't shed, because obviously she couldn't shed too many details as far as the movie since it still is so far out. But you know, we did get a couple little tidbits in there. So definitely tune into that tomorrow. And the podcast is going to be dedicated to that interview. There's no other news or anything like that we're sharing. It's going to be just dedicated to that. So pretty cool. Additionally, I also wanted to call out that next Tuesday, or make that next Wednesday, and I have just the cover off of it, but it's going to be the Art of Wall-E Book Club discussion. So if you have not already began, or if you wanted to join us, all of the details are on our website. Just go to pixarpost.com, click on the book club tab, and all of the information to join yet another Google Hangout just like this is included on the site. So we're going to be talking all about that book, having images pulled up as far as what was your favorite artwork in there, who do you think your favorite artist was, and then we're also going to go through some of the text that's included in there as well. All right, so one of the things I wanted to do as well, before we actually view the trailer, is talk about if anybody has any questions that they wanted to ask. If you're watching us directly on Google Plus, I should say, you can ask any question you want directly in the Google window, and they will pop up on our side, and we will go ahead and answer those. Just remember that any of the questions that you may ask are going to be on a small delay because the broadcast is slightly delayed in case something comes up and we needed to cut it out. Additionally, if you're not watching us directly on Google+, if you're watching us on YouTube and or directly on our website and in the embedded video, you can use right down below our name there the hashtag PixarPostIO on Twitter, and Julie will be monitoring that on our iPad as well. So if anybody has any questions, PixarPostIO for Inside Out, and we will answer those, or if you want to throw your comments in. We've had a few people that have already left comments on the forum, and we're going to be talking through some of those as well. So thank you to Antoine for Gray Catbird, and then also to Mac95, our regular there as well. I am going to try. We tested this. It didn't work. I'm going to try to view the trailer. And Dan, I'm going to use you as my point guy. If for some reason this does not show up and it's not actually showing, just go ahead and tell me right off the bat after about 10 seconds, and you can.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Is the trailer showing?
No.
No.
Okay. So
we'll just talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go ahead and talk about that. I was really hoping this would work. So I'm going to turn this part off, and there we go. Okay, so the trailer. So
was so exciting, by the way.
It was.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about the trailer, the poster, and then some of the news articles. So let's talk about the trailer specifically first. I want to know about the opening montage. So not any of the Inside Out part yet, but what were your thoughts on the opening montage? Lauren, your initial thoughts.
I liked it, but I was kind of confused. I was like, I thought I'm looking at an Inside Out teaser. But then once I kept playing it, I liked it, and it went well with the fear and the joy. It connected well. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I am absolutely. You're absolutely right that I thought the same thing. When I first started watching it, I was like, this better not be the teaser. It's just like talking about other movies and the emotions that came with it. So that is that's an interesting thing that you thought the same thing. Dan, what did you think about the intro part?
Yeah, it's along the same lines. I wasn't confused. I knew where they were going with it. I just wished that there was more Inside Out. But then that was my initial thought because I hadn't seen the trailer before, so I was really excited to see the Inside Out footage. But then once I saw what it was, I could appreciate the montage quite a bit more and what they were going for. And I watched it probably 10 times in a row. And I thought it was a unique approach because they really did take all the emotions they're going for from all the other Pixar films, or most of them, and it really did kind of bring chills. It really was a good montage.
Yeah, absolutely. And the one thing that I really loved is the music that was in the background. The more times that I watched it, the more it absolutely just was like chills, just hitting me with all the emotions and running through. What did you think about it, Julie?
I thought it was really sweet. You know, I mean, I guess that's what trailers are supposed to do. They're supposed to just spark our interest and make us just want more and be like, wait a second, you're only showing us like 20 seconds of the actual film? But I thought it was really sweet because they went through those, you know, 5 emotions that we're going to meet in Inside Out by showing us other emotions that those characters, you know, went through in other Pixar films. Kind of, it made me think of, okay, well, these 5 characters in Inside Out also live within all of those characters in the other Pixar films. At least that's what it made me think of.
Sure. Yeah, and Daniel Duvall is actually chiming in online, and he's saying he can relate to the comments as well. So absolutely, he's feeling the same way. And he had actually a great tip for me. So I am actually going to attempt one more time to show the trailer. I think he might
Hi, Daniel.
Yes, hi, Dan. Thanks for chiming in and giving a little more information. He said that I should turn my camera off first and then try to play the video. So I'm going to try to do that. So I'm going to go blank, and let's see what happens. Dan, go ahead and just...
crossed.
Yeah, exactly. And then, Dan, just go ahead and let me know. You'll be my point person again if it doesn't work.
Okay.
Do you see it?
No.
No.
Yeah, we'll just...
Bummer. Well, it was worth a shot. So either way, okay. So that's cool there. We have a question that has come in on hashtag PixarPostIO, and it's from Seth, and he says, "Do you think the critics will be giving Inside Out a much more overwhelmingly positive review of 95 to 98% on Rotten Tomatoes?" Well, Julie, what do you think?
I think it's deserved. I think it's an interesting concept. It's different. I think Pete Docter's films have always, you know, garnered a lot of praise. And I think it's just... I think people are just really excited for... It's a different type of animation. They're doing a lot of squash and stretch, which is like old style and like Looney Tunes, which, you know, a lot of people aren't used to Pixar doing that. So I do. I mean, I think it's... what I'm trying to say is, like, I think it's worth it. Like, I think it's deserved, I should say.
Well, I think it's easy to get wrapped up in the hype of all of it, because we've been waiting for it for so long. We didn't have a movie in 2014, or we're not going to have a movie in 2014. So I feel like when it's like Inside Out's coming, we've had a delay. People are really excited about it. It's a concept that hasn't been done. It's an original film.
Yeah, it's new characters. It's not like Monsters University, which I love, but you know, we already knew most of those or some of those characters. So it's new characters. You know, Pete Docter's back.
Right, we trust him. He's built our trust over several films. So I'm just going to go out on a limb, Seth, and just say that I would say that this one's going to be a knock it out of the park. It's going to be another high-ranking up Toy Story 3, another one of those type of ranking scenarios. But Dan, what do you think?
Yeah, and in fact, this was something I have on in my notes to bring up, is just the fact that the the comments that I've seen already so far, whether on Facebook, on YouTube, on Entertainment Weekly, whatever, I look through all the comments, and I don't think I've seen, at least early on this day, not one negative thing about it. Maybe people say, "Oh, I wish they showed more," but as far as the concept or the excitement for it, people are like, "Pixar's back. Pixar's going to do it again." Without a movie this year, you know, I hadn't had my Pixar fix, but now this is really going to bring it on, and I think that's just overwhelmingly positive already, and that's only within just today with the first teaser. So.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell exactly what the critics are going to think, because we know so little about the movie, but we know enough that I think that it's going to be a huge hit, hopefully.
Yeah, it just feels like it. It feels like it. I mean, what we're already seeing, the concepts and the story that we're hearing, it definitely seems like one of those things that I often talk about, which is, we talk about it on the podcast, is people rank Pixar movies based on how it makes them feel emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those things that I think that this one is going to be one that a lot of people can connect to, whether you're a parent watching it with your child or whether you're the child watching it. I feel like it's going to appeal to all age ranges. So that's kind of what I think. So I kind of go that same way, that I think it's going to be pretty strong ranking there. Additionally, as far as a comment that was on the forum, Mac95 had mentioned that from seeing it's kind of jumping a little bit to the Inside Out part, but he's saying it's very clear to me that Pixar and Disney are trying their very best to sell these emotions and make us love them. It helps that the emotions are very central in the trailer. He goes on and says other items that I'll bring up here when we get in a little bit further. But obviously the first thing that we see after we get out of the montage scene is the characters kind of flipping. Well, actually, that's a little bit later, but let's go to that flipping up part. So we've got Joy that flips up, and then we've got the next one that jumps up. So what do you think as far as the emotions themselves and the ability of Pixar as far as selling it? I think that, he's saying it's kind of, they're trying their best to sell the emotions. I don't know if they have to try that hard. I'm kind of sold right off the get-go.
I agree. I don't think you really need to, exactly what you said, like sell them, because I'm sold from even the concept art that we saw, that first image that was released at D23, with how they look. They look like their appearance. They portray that appearance in their appearance. Right.
Yeah. So pretty cool stuff there. So as far as more with the Inside Out part, Lauren, what was your favorite part of the very small but little bit of footage that we were able to see?
I love when, I don't know what room they're in, but Joy picks up this ball, and it has the childhood memory of them going down the slide. That was like my favorite part, because you could see that, how Joy is yellow and blue? Mm-hmm. Those are her memories, and I saw in the background there's like a green and there's a red, and I feel like those different colored balls are the different emotions, memories. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Absolutely. Yes. And are you, do you guys, Dan, do you see this screen that I have pulled up right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So these are the balls that you're mentioning, and you're talking about the fact that there's a green one in the lower right.
And then there's the blue.
Yeah, absolutely.
Red. And those are all the different memories, but I love how there's mostly yellow throughout.
Yeah, very joyous.
It's all joy.
Mm-hmm. Right, absolutely. And obviously you see that a little bit more in this next screenshot where you see Riley, I'm assuming it's Riley, going down the slide.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool, because I kind of just took it as these emotions are kind of living in these orbs, but I didn't know that we were necessarily going to see them in action. Like, it's almost like they're moving there. So it's going to be really cool if you're talking about seeing a shot where you've got all these orbs, these little balls on a shelf like this, and let's just say you can see even little flickers of emotions moving in each one of them. I think that could be really, really darn cool.
Yeah.
So Dan, what was the favorite part of yours from the Inside Out portion?
Well, Lauren actually took mine. That was my favorite part too, for sure. But
that was mine too, so don't worry about it.
Yeah. An insight that I thought that I'd share that made me think of is perhaps the screenshot that you shared with all those yellow orbs, the one we were just looking at with all the joy. Perhaps that's earlier on in the movie, and as the movie progresses, as she goes towards teenager more, as she gets more moody, as she gets more perhaps angry or disgusted, that part of the heart or the emotion of the film will be that the joyous orbs will start to be more red and green, or she'll become more fearful throughout the movie. That's just a thought.
I agree. I agree with that. I think the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally think that it's going to go that way, that it's going to become one of those things where, we're going to see that subtly in the background. I bet it's going to be like a symbolism kind of thing, which we talk about on the next podcast, a symbolism element with lighting. But I think it's going to actually be a symbolism thing where in the background you're going to see these things going.
Kind of change without being, discussed.
Without even talking about it so much.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea. I hope that's how it goes down.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Julie, what about a favorite moment for you? Do you have one?
I do. I really like that orb section as well, but I also really like the ending where Sadness kind of walks out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, she's going to say something, but she's like, oh, forget it.
Yeah.
And just, like, walks off.
Yeah, just gives up. Forget it, yeah.
I thought that was really cute because I'm like, oh.
Yeah, you do. You kind of feel for her, for sure. What did everybody think about the Aerosmith song Sweet Emotions? Honestly, because of it, I've been playing it all dang day.
All day, Aerosmith in this house.
Yeah, even other songs.
I've been trying to find what that song is called all day, so thank you.
It's called Sweet Emotions by Aerosmith. And in fact, we have a link to it on iTunes right in our post. So afterwards, you don't even have to go look it up. You can just click that and it'll go take you right to it.
Sweet. Thank you.
Yeah. Now, the one song that I want to know for sure is the opening montage part.
Yes.
Because that part is absolutely awesome, too. And then I was trying to think like, I can like Soundhound it or Shazam it, but I can't because it's got all the vocals over the top of it, so it won't pick it up.
Oh.
But but I definitely knew Sweet Emotions right off the bat. Dan, did you know that one?
I didn't.
Oh my goodness! Tell these young people.
But once you posted about it, once you actually said what it was, I recognized it as something famous, but I didn't know what it was or who it was by.
Okay, so I have to know anybody else that's listening out there as well. Even just use Pixar Post IO right now and let me know if you knew that was an Aerosmith song called Sweet Emotions or if it was something that it either had to be reminded to you or not. I literally immediately was like, this is Sweet Emotions, and it was interesting because I was like, I don't typically like when there's a song that has like a vocals on it, but the introduction of it with that awesome bass riff and everything, it just worked so well for me to kind of get that emotion of the song going.
The first thing it actually made me think of is Pete Docter an Aerosmith fan? Is that why this was? Like, what was the point of putting... I mean, obviously, because it says emotion.
I was going to say, I think it's just a literal play on Sweet Emotion.
I wonder, though.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Is he an Aerosmith fan? He would fit more in the age range like myself that would be a fan. So did I see we had something else pop up there?
Just a couple nice comments.
We'll go ahead and read them off. Who are they from and what are they?
A news one? How would you say that?
Shagru. Shagru?
Yeah.
Shigaroo. Shigaroo News. All right.
He said for him, what makes a Pixar movie or any other movie special is when it has a very unique, unexpected, and exciting twist. So we agree.
That's true. That's what it is.
Absolutely. Yeah, and obviously with the Pete Docter behind it, he's going to have those moments, those twists, those things that surprise us and make us feel emotion.
Right.
But also now we're going to see the emotion as well, which is really kind of cool.
So I actually have a question for you guys. The teaser poster that was released, that is the head with all the emotion blobs in it, like the circles. You guys have both seen that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what did you guys think about that?
It kind of reminded me of, like, way back when they first released the Inside Out of the first one. They just added color to it and changed the font.
Yes.
That's all I saw out of it. But
Yeah.
I really like it better than the original.
Okay.
I agree. Yeah.
Dan, your thoughts?
Like you were last night when we first saw it, we were just kind of confused. We thought it might have been a fake or a fan-made poster at first because we're like, wait a second, that's a male profile kind of silhouette rather than a girl or whatever. So
Right. It would make me think like, hey, this should be a female as well.
yeah. So I was just unsure about it at first. Like, oh, well, I thought it was real at first until you brought that up. I was like, oh wait, maybe this isn't. But now that it's been confirmed and everything, I really like the design. I think it's just really clean. You know what the head reminds me of is something you would see on on some like trivia question game card set or something.
Yeah, okay, so I had the same comment, obviously, to Julie, and her initial reaction was, no, you're essentially nuts, because her thought was, well, go ahead and say it.
I just think it's a generic head, and we're not supposed to look at it as it's supposed to be like a story about Riley. It's just a generic head for the mind. I think it's just something that you're not supposed to kind of ask questions. Kind of like in Up, dogs were flying. You just.
Well, I didn't ask the question until TJ brought it up. He ruined it.
Yes, he often makes you wonder about things.
I'm just kidding.
So, no, you're fine. So, okay, I'm going to pull up that original. You're talking about kind of, this one was the original one that you were talking about, Lauren?
Yeah.
Right, and this one isn't specific, male or female either.
Just looks childlike.
It's just childlike, right. The other one is kind of more in between. It could be adult, it could be child. It's more of like that.
To me, I think it's just a generic head.
Right, absolutely. So, in fact, I didn't want to go back that far. As far as an additional thing that I wanted to call out, what did we think about the motion poster that was revealed?
That's what I'm talking about.
Specific. Well, yeah, I was talking about just the emotion.
I really like it because the balls remind me of the teaser that we just watched. So I feel like those are all the different emotions going through. So I like it a lot.
But I also have another thing that the Pixar theory people are going to go crazy with.
Yeah, she talked about this last night.
Get ready for this.
All right, ready?
Okay, so you know that crazy Pixar theory that every Pixar film is Andy's mom or whatever it is?
Mm.
Yep.
Okay, so what if Riley is Andy's half-sister and the man... Oh, sorry, our cat walked around. And the mom and dad, that's Andy's father.
Oh.
And the head in the poster is Andy's dad, and it's really going to be all about him.
Yeah, this is.
I'm totally kidding.
This is ridiculous. Yeah, we were cracking up about this.
But I was just laughing about it.
And I'm like, stop stirring the pot when it comes to this Pixar theory anymore.
Hey, Julie's gonna write that and get famous. She's gonna be all over the social media. She's gonna be on news.
Oh yeah, Riley's Andy's half sister.
Yeah. So
kidding.
So are you gonna call it Pixar Theory 2, or is it gonna be the new Pixar Theory?
The real Pixar Theory.
Oh, even better. Even better. Even better. Yeah. So Dan, is it true? I'm just kidding.
It might be.
Yeah. No, don't do it.
Maybe I'll write it.
Right. So what about this? What about this website? The website, the Inside Out motion poster one. Lauren, is it just like another little teaser site that's out there, or what did you think about that website with the actual like orbs moving inside the head that linked to all the social media and everything? To me, it kind of felt like it was just kind of hanging out there.
Yeah, I actually didn't see it until you posted it. I had no idea about it.
Okay.
But like I said earlier, I think those little orbs or balls are still like the same emotions, just going through his or her head.
I like that. I like that thought of it's always they're kind of swirling around in your head. I didn't even think about it like that. Obviously I should have taken it just at face value for what it was. I'm all like, what does this mean? So crazy. Okay, so then let's see. So
I am excited to see what else is going to be on the website, though, because you know they're going to put more stuff on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as it expands, as it grows, there's certainly going to be more and more that keeps popping up for sure. So more about the characters as they're kind of popping up. So one of the things that, again, Mac95 said was, I think that disgust's little hair flip and ugh it will make the teen audience happy as it gives them something to happily relate to. I love anger. I love the squash and stretch effects on fear as he screams, "Ah, look out!" Which, by the way, that part was absolutely awesome. I just completely cracked up. We love Bill Hader.
We love Bill Hader.
To begin with, and the fact that he is doing this voice is awesome. Pop quiz, Dan, what voice did Bill Hader do in Monsters University?
He did too.
Oh, well, he did the slug.
Yes.
Maybe I didn't know that he did another one. Or maybe I did. Maybe once I don't remember.
Lauren, do you know?
Maybe the janitor at the end? I really don't know.
Close.
No.
Oh.
Julie?
Good luck, Chris. Or sorry about that, Chris Kringle.
Oh,
he was the referee.
Better luck next time, Chris Kringle.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
So he did that voice too, but he is a fantastic voice actor, and we're very excited for his voice to be on Fear. So what did you think about that part when he dropped down like that? Was like, did that get anybody else, or was it just me?
I died. I thought it was hilarious. It goes with his emotion.
Yeah, absolutely. He's dropping it. Oh, look out! Dan, what did you think?
Yeah, I thought it was. They took something that was kind of cliche a little bit, but then because Pixar is so good at just making things not cliche, it was funny because of the voice acting and just the way that they did it. Pixar is so good at timing, comedic timing.
Yeah. So one of the other things that I loved about that and seeing, and in fact it's in that group hug scene as well, is when you look at Fear and you see his eyebrows. I don't know why I never paid attention to it before, but his eyebrows just literally float above his head.
Yeah, you can see it in the...
I know, I can see it in the other artwork too, but for some reason I never connected with it until I really saw him in motion and them kind of like, going with like that extra stretch when he gets kind of pulled around. I thought that was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So what else of the other characters? Did you guys notice anything else on any other characters that you really liked or thought about? That's okay if you didn't.
I'm trying to think back. I'm replaying it in my mind.
Yeah.
All right. So another one was that I had read in one of the comments on another website as well was about how the hair on the characters kind of has like a little bit of like a metallic-iness to it.
It does. Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, I thought that was
sparkle.
Yeah, and I had seen that before, but it's really cool, obviously, seeing it in this trailer, that you're seeing it more, we're seeing it in motion. We're seeing the characters interacting on a bigger
Watching
level.
it frame by frame.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it'll be a lot more apparent as well on the big screen. You'll be able to see it quite a bit more.
Yeah, and I'm going to pull up the screen share one more time because I want to go back to another one of the images, too, as we were talking about this one with the orb with the memory of her sliding down. Obviously, we had known too that the emotions are made up of this particulate matter, and it's really cool to be able to see how they're emitting a little bit of that, like the particles. So when they walk, we know that they're going to leave that ghost trail of the particles. But it's cool seeing them emit off of her arm here. Did you guys notice that? And did you guys know that before, or did you just really notice it this time around?
I just noticed it when you were talking about it. I did not notice that before.
Okay.
Yeah, I had noticed before, and I paid extra attention in the trailer because I think that's such a unique way to animate the characters.
Yeah, absolutely. And
the fact that they had to have what they say new technology in order to even achieve that look.
Yeah, absolutely. And I thought it was really cool, too, that as Julie was talking about when Sadness is kind of walking on and then walks off, if you look underneath her, you can see that she's got a natural like glow that's emitting from her, and it fades off and everything. So I was just watching that.
It's kind of almost like Squishy in Monsters University, that he just kind of glowed around when he had all of those spiky balls in him from the scare games.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, what were those?
The glow urchins.
Yes.
The glow urchins. There he is. Ding, 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 ding. So yeah, so I thought that was really cool that she admitted that light as well. But as I was on that screen, there was another one that I noticed, another moment. I thought this was a really cool moment from the trailer as well. So you've got the family here. We're seeing Dad and Mom, and then Riley, obviously, and they're around this table. But what I thought was interesting about it, and what I wanted to get people's opinion on, is this, because we know that the family moves from Minnesota to San Francisco area, is this the house that the family is moving out of and they are packed up and eating takeout before they leave?
Yes.
Or have they arrived in San Francisco and they're eating Chinese takeout once they've arrived in their new home? So take a quick look at it again, and then I want you to pay attention as well to the Chinese takeout food boxes, and then we'll comment on it. I'm going to take it off here in just a second.
First I thought for sure this is when they moved. Now I'm thinking this is now in San Francisco.
Okay, so pay attention. You've got all the rich molding.
Because it's an older home.
Down by, if you go down below where the father's sitting and off to the side, you can almost see like there's paint that has gone over onto the floorboards. You've got an old broom in the back corner behind the mom where she's sitting. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing, and we're going to come back to it here. All right, so I'm holding off on my comment. Lauren, what do you think? Is it the house in Minnesota? Is it the house in San Francisco? Or something else?
I think it's the house in San Francisco, just because when we moved, we had boxes everywhere, and we actually had a cardboard table we ate dinner at for like the first week when we were getting our furniture set up. So I think it's after they moved, because she does look upset a little if you look at the detail of her face. So that's what I think.
She could be upset from leaving as well, but
that's what I originally thought. But then when I saw the wear of the floor and everything, I just feel like it's their new house.
I feel like it's an older home in San Francisco as well. I'm going to reveal that's my opinion, because it's got all that rich architecture of the wood, and it feels like a smaller space, like you're moving into there. And then also, if you know San Francisco, they have a big area for Chinatown, and so they would have a lot of Chinese takeout restaurants in that area as well. So I think that's going to mirror real life. And I love Lauren's example of eating on the card table.
Yeah.
But Dan, you're going to...
when we moved, we just ate on a blanket on the floor.
Well, that's true. Okay, fine, show off.
We didn't have a card table.
Yeah, the fancy card table. All right, so Dan, you'd be pretty much crazy to say it's Minnesota now, since we've all railroaded it that it's San Francisco. But what do you think?
No, yeah, it's going to be the same thing. And it's funny that you guys had the same question and the same thoughts, because you're very detail-oriented when you look through these things. And I had the same exact thing, or I thought the same thing. Is this the house before the move? Is this the house after the move? And I definitely thought, after thinking about it, that it was the house after the move. Just looking at that screenshot, everything seems so bleak and almost depressing. The lighting, just the table, the kind of the grunginess, just denotes that they had just moved into a kind of an older house, and that it's kind of like an awkward moment there at the table after they had moved.
I agree. Yep, absolutely. And then one of the reasons why I said to look at the Chinese food boxes is because Gray Catbird, again, Antoine, is an expert when it comes to finding hidden items. And he pointed out that it's most likely the same model that was used for the ones that first appear in A Bug's Life, and it was also in Toy Story 2, Monsters, Inc., and Ratatouille.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he is on top of it when it comes to that stuff, and if anybody needs any type of hidden references, specifically in the Cars movies, he's all over those. So I thought that was really cool. Anything else that you guys noticed in that particular screenshot at the dinner table there with that group?
No.
Not necessarily.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about another one here, which was the group hug. Okay, so the group hug, tons of fun. You can see that the eyebrows, like I mentioned, are up there. Love that they can just fly off of his head as far as he wants. There's no, like, it has to be attached or anything. I know that there's no rules when it comes to cartooning, But that's another one of those things that's a definite throwback to that Tex Avery, Chuck Jones kind of styling.
And I actually have something to throw in. If we look at the orbs in the background, we see a lot of fear and disgust.
I was just thinking that.
As well as, gosh, I guess anger, too.
Anger, yeah, there's anger in there.
But joy is in that screenshot.
Yes.
Ooh, dun dun dun.
So kind of mirroring what we were just talking about a couple minutes ago.
Yeah, I guess so.
Right, and I love all those little like crazy nooks and crannies over, like if you look above to the right of Sadness's head, in the very back there's all those little nooks and crannies with, it looks like more orbs kind of stuffed and stacked in there. Really cool stuff.
See, I was looking out the window.
Okay.
What is back
That's
there?
what I was going to bring up too. Exactly. I was wondering if we're going to be able to see more of that. It's hard to tell what's out there exactly.
Okay, so Antoine also mentioned that one of the most awesome details for me is that the window that opens up behind the headquarters, it suggests how immense the world of the mind could be. I mean, it seems to me that inside the mind cartoons depict a world that only exists in relation to the outside. They only have one window, the eyes. It's amazing that here the other side seems to be equally vast and important. So I thought that was really cool. Did you guys see anything in that background that caught your eye or anything like that?
No, it just seems, like he was saying, just seems like a lot of openness.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the Entertainment Weekly article, you can go back to the screenshot or the video or whatever.
I'm not going there yet because I have one more thing that I'm going to point out that's outside that window.
Oh, well, in the Entertainment Weekly article, they had mentioned that the memories are almost filmed, like staged in a production, like a warehouse, like a stage.
Right.
So that could be in the background.
Okay.
And what we're seeing is almost like a city.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like, because doesn't Joy get lost like in the middle of the film somewhere? Because I remember reading something about that.
Yeah,
Yes.
joy and disgust.
I feel like they're going to get lost somewhere in there, and we're going to see that area later in the movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I
There was a
think.
couple more details revealed with that as well. They get kind of spoilery, so I won't leave that. But if you're interested, you can jump on our site. It's in one of the related posts on this trailer as well, where it talks about some more of those details that were revealed. So before I jump off of the screenshot, since we've been looking at it for a while, one of the other things I wanted to show specifically that I had noticed is we do know that Riley happens to be a fan of hockey. And if you look between joy and fear, it appears that you have two hockey sticks that are poking up
Oh, yeah.
between them.
Oh.
So
Good catch. That does look like two hockey sticks.
right, and obviously coming from Minnesota, they have a lot of cold there, they have a lot of ice, so that drives it home. But so what do you guys think? Are those hockey sticks with some like caution tape kind of wrapped on them there?
Yeah, I think so. And I think the little black part on the left-hand side is probably a puck. It's like a little black.
Oh.
Hang on a second, I'm going back.
So there's like that little black circle.
Oh, yeah. Up above it?
Yep.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
like hanging right above the hockey stick itself.
Yep, I think that's the puck.
Okay, yeah, absolutely, that would make sense. So okay, all right. How about right below the hockey stick? Is that a trophy?
Yeah.
It could be.
It has a silvery kind of look to it,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
I can't decide
What that is.
what anything else is out the other window that looks like it has a little bit of a green element to it. I can't make that out.
You know what I'm thinking?
Go ahead, Dan.
I'm thinking that they are the direction they're facing towards the camera, that they're looking maybe towards the front of Riley, maybe out her eyes or whatever. It's towards the front. Maybe those are the windows to the back of her mind, and the back of her mind has things from her past that she's still dwelling on.
Totally, absolutely.
Yes.
I think that's 100% what it is.
Because she's growing up to be like a preteen, and she's like, oh, do I play hockey? Well, I don't play hockey here in San Francisco, so...
Right, but it's always kind of in the back of her mind, though, what she could have had.
Yes, I agree.
Yep. So I think that might be a trophy out there too, now that we're even talking about it even more, because it's more solidified that it's a memory. Okay, so also just wanted to point out real quick, the dials and all the knobs and everything looks really cool on that control table there.
And they're all color-coded as well.
It certainly seems like it would be. I'm going to use this moment as well to point out one thing in case anybody hasn't checked it out, is our Pixar Post gallery that we have posted. It's expanding all the time. We totally went all out with the Inside Out gallery, putting everything out there. But in case anybody has not checked it out, just go to pixarpost.com, go to gallery/fanart, and we're adding more, like I said, all the absolute time. So some of the films that we already have, some of the screenshots out there, we're only putting official information, concept art, any type of screenshots that we get, so that way it's all higher end stuff. So we've got some more from some of the teasers. We've got the Annecy International Film Festival, as well as some Actors Guild of America, a little close-up of the tweet that Pete Docter had done on Twitter, more information there. So just in case anybody hasn't checked that out, definitely go ahead and do that as well. We're going to be building it out more and more all the time, and we're trying to make it kind of like the I don't know, a go-to gallery where it has all the historical information as well as upcoming information. Okay, so we talked about the poster. We talked some about the EW article. I want to talk a little bit more about that EW article as well, and a couple of the comments that were in there, which I thought were the best of that. So some of the things that we already know. Inside Out was inspired by Up's director, young daughter Ellie, whose entry into adolescence transformed her from a mischievous girl into a quiet preteen. And this is where Pete Docter is saying, as parents, we were like, wow, that's so unlike her. What's going on in her brain, recalls Docter, who made his directorial debut with Monsters, Inc. And that's what led to the heart of the story, the question of what goes inside of our own minds. So I thought that was a cool, I mean, obviously we knew that that was kind of some of the basis from what had been released before, that it was going to be based on his daughter's move into this preteen world. But I just love that extra thought of from a mischievous girl playing hockey into this quiet preteen. And as parents, we were like, wow, that's so unlike her. What's going on inside her brain? Just really cool that that life moment can happen, and you can connect that and extrapolate that into saying, hey, I can make a movie out of this.
Yeah, I can really expand upon this.
I mean, that's just really cool to have that thought and that point and realize that there's so much there, so many layers, and that that would make a movie. So I thought that was really cool. The other thing I liked was where it mentions joy goes to places like Dream Productions, where dreams are shot live every night, like you had talked about, in this massive Hollywood studio with a backlot, props, and costumes, says Docter. Hopefully there will be multiple places where everyone just goes, whoa. So that is kind of cool.
I think people are already saying that with this teaser trailer. They're like, whoa, what is this?
Right. Yeah, so Dan, what do you think? Are you going to say whoa with some of these areas? And have you already known some of that other kind of spoilery stuff as far as other lands that they're going to be going to?
Yeah, I try not to be a spoiler guy, but I can't help it. I try so hard. Same with Star Wars or anything that's coming out that I'm really excited for. Like, all this stuff's coming online, all these rumors, and I'm like, nope, okay, I can't help it. By the time I've already seen the movie in my mind, and everything's spoiled, but that's a problem. But yeah, so I've read about all that kind of stuff, and I think it's just brilliant. But hopefully there's going to be a lot of aspects that I don't know about, too, that I will say, whoa, that it was genius.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to be lots of fun. And think about all the different areas, nooks and crannies and everything that you can go into inside the mind.
Mm-hmm.
And then speaking about the mind, it says, of course, we know the original idea was inspired by events at home. Doctor's extensive research on emotional intelligence with neurologists convinced him that the traditional human-like forms just wouldn't do for his expressive characters. So it makes me think back to that original concept art that was released when we saw this. Boy, that was December 2012 or something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go back to that real quick. That was this one here. The characters, I guess, at this point, they already still do look more characterized. But do they look more, I guess they don't look more human-like as well. So at this point, and this was a long time ago, they obviously had already had that part fleshed out and ready to go. But I just thought that was really cool to say, like, you know, with this work that he had talked about with neurologists, it convinced him that any type of regular human form just couldn't exist. And he says emotions are completely bonkers. So he wanted to convey that. So he settled on designing them as energetic points of light. reminiscent of firing neural pathways. So I thought it was cool how they tied in, and they talked about as well before in some of the other articles that have been released, that they're not focusing and they're not relying on the science of the mind. They just use some of that background research to formulate it. And obviously, emotions are completely bonkers, because how many times have we gone inside of our own minds, thought something, it's completely false, and then we come back around and
Especially
we're like,
preteen girls, my goodness.
That's what I was thinking.
I don't want to go back when I was a preteen girl, or have anyone around me when I was a preteen girl.
yeah, all those types of things. And then, you know, how it is crazy like that. I mean, I can obviously say that from my standpoint as well. I had the dark goth phase where I kind of like went internal, and I just was like outside late at night drawing and writing poetry.
I was just silly.
Yeah, she was crazy. She dressed all wacky. She wore all these crazy big hats and like furry coats and everything. She was nuts. Dan, did you do anything wacky and that would be completely bonkers in your preteen or teen days?
It's funny, you guys were just talking about that. I was thinking about myself, and I really can't say that I have. I've been pretty much just the same.
Oh, look at Dan holding steady here.
No, I'm just saying, like,
Think about preteen, because I feel like
I mean, everybody gets like moody. Everyone gets like more of like an attitude, or gets more defensive, or things like that. But as far as like big changes, I didn't go through any big phases in my life where it was like so different than who I really am now.
Right. Yeah, I think. Oh, go ahead.
What's that? No, go for it.
Well, actually, I have to say, it is kind of weird. Like, Dan has kind of been like the same person in a way since he's been like born. Like, all of his interests and hobbies have just kind of stayed and grown throughout his life.
Yeah, and for anybody that doesn't know, that's Dan's wife, Britta, talking in the background.
Yes, she is here.
So yeah, and I have to kind of agree based on your website. I mean, you've been collecting all this stuff since you were a kid. Your picture on your About You page, About Me page, is the picture of you where you're holding your Woody doll and everything like that. So, I mean, it's kind of like one of those things. And I think any one of us that are either watching or talking on this kind of all have that youthfulness, that childlike nature about us.
Yeah.
And we've stayed interested in it for sure.
What about you, Lauren?
I don't know, because I'm still technically a teenager.
Yeah, but you're not a preteen anymore.
True. Let's just say I was probably weird and nerdy, so people thought, because I couldn't control my curl. There wasn't anything out yet, so I had like the big hair and all that. But I've been the same. Like, I haven't changed much. I probably matured more than anything.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, you certainly seem more mature than either of us were at that age. We were both completely...
Oh, I was like climbing trees by myself, and I didn't want to hang out with friends. I just like stayed to myself, and but you know, I loved being a dork.
That's right.
It's fun. You get to do more.
I know.
Absolutely. You don't have to, you don't have to go along with the group. But anyway, so I thought that was really cool how they talked about some of that science behind it and all those kind of things. But Dan, I know leading into this, you had mentioned that you had some other notes that you had written down, or a couple different things. Did we cover any of those, or did you? Did you or Britta have anything else that you wanted to chat about that you had noticed specifically in the trailer or anything?
Are we? Is this like? Are we wrapping things up?
Let's go freeform. Let's whatever came across your mind.
Okay. I just didn't know if you were like wrapping things up. I didn't want to like take any more time if you wanted to.
Nope, we're good.
Wrap things up. A couple of things. They're all just tiny little details. Like, for example, their little catchphrase at the end. Not catchphrase, but the
Emotion picture.
Yeah, the major emotion picture. I thought that was clever, and what it reminded me of kind of harkened back to the A Bug's Life days when they said that it was an epic of miniature proportions.
Proportions, yeah.
It
Okay, so
reminded me a lot of that.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because I thought that was one of the things that I wanted to bring that up too. We both laughed at that like crazy and just thought again how clever that is. But yeah, what a play on words that they could fit it right in there and throw emotion in there again.
Mm-hmm.
A major emotion picture.
I just thought that was clever.
Yeah, absolutely. What else did you have there?
Let's see. Just like a note, just the whole style of the trailer is different than what Pixar has done before. Obviously, you've noticed almost every single Pixar trailer is always a little scene that doesn't end up in the movie, but it's kind of there to set up the characters that you're going to see. Like, if you harken back to Cars or the Monsters University trailer or even the Monsters, Inc. trailer or the A Bug's Life trailer or the Incredibles, any of those trailers all are just a single scene of something that establishes the characters of the world that you never ever end up seeing in the final movie. And I thought this was different because they didn't do that. I thought it was cool because they appealed to emotions for.
Yeah, they kept that. They kept that as the strong part, and then they just showed that little clip at the end, which kind of tied it all together.
Yeah,
it certainly was a different type of trailer.
Yeah, I just thought that was cool that they know, Pixar knows that the emotions of their movies is really what gets people, and it was cool to see all those emotional moments in that montage, and for them to appeal to everyone's emotions in regards to a movie based on emotions. So I just thought that was a perfect teaser for that. Even though I did want to see more, we'll see more soon enough.
Yeah, I know. It's painful. It was painful to see just that. It didn't start till 55 seconds into it, where we were
like
actually seeing the inside-out portion of it, and everybody's like, ah! So what else did you do? Was there any other observations that you had?
No, I just had my silly thing of that Pixar theory, and it's just that I loved it. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing more. I really do like the teaser poster. I like the simplistic, like the cleanness of it.
Right.
Yeah, the emotions. I love how they sound. I love the way they were moving when they were flopping in the air. The look, the lighting, as we just were talking about the lighting last night, looks phenomenal. So I'm really excited to see what new techniques Pixar is doing with the lighting. Also with animation, to see if there's any other new animation styles that they're doing. Obviously with the squash and stretch, they haven't done that. So we're excited to see that. Gosh.
Wow, you said you didn't have anything. You're just rattling these things off. It's awesome.
I could keep going, but I'm geeking out right now, I guess, a little too much.
Yeah. All right, well, Dan, since I've been unloading on you a little bit as far as asking the questions, I'll give you a second to see if you have any more. But Lauren, did you have anything else that you observed in there, or anything else that kind of caught your eye that you wanted to bring up at all about the trailer?
I'm just hoping, since this trailer's coming out in October, that in November, when the new Disney animation movie comes out, The Big Hero 6, that we get that first full-length trailer. That's what I'm hoping for.
Right, so that would be November 7th, and we will certainly be keeping our eyes and ears peeled for that one as well to see, because yes, it would be great to get a full-length trailer. Yeah. I don't remember the length of time between the Monsters University mirror ball one where Sully put the mirror balls on Mike.
Yeah, I can't remember now.
That distance between.
I think that was a part of the Brave, wasn't it? In front of Brave, or not Brave, or one of those Disney animation movies. I remember seeing it in theaters. That's when I first saw it.
Right.
Was it in part of Muppets?
Maybe. No, that was Muppets.
No, that was older.
That was the Party Central.
Yeah.
Where Muppets Most Wanted. I don't know though.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping.
Dan knows this, I'm sure. No, I'm just kidding.
The original Monsters University one with the teaser with the ball and everything, that was with Brave, but the full-length trailer didn't actually come for quite a bit later. It wasn't for 4 or 5, 6 months later.
Right. I know that's kind of a bummer. I'm saying, we're hoping for November 7th with a grain of salt, but that would be great. But I don't know if that will happen. But so I hear you, and we completely agree there. Anybody that happens to be listening while we're going through kind of some of the wrap-up stuff, again, Pixar Post IO, if you want to either ask any more questions, throw any last-minute comments in there. Dan, anything else that you had on your little notes there that we wanted to cover?
Not really. I think we pretty much covered everything, just kind of talking around with everybody. But I love the trailer. I thought we talked about it. It's really clean. I love the simplicity, the typography, how everything is just lowercase. It's colorful. It reminds me almost like a commercial for a Macintosh product, almost with the music and the simplicity and almost the futuristic kind of feel to it. I loved it. Can't wait to see more.
You mentioned the font. The font kind of reminded me of Monsters, Inc. in a way.
That's what I was thinking, a little.
Yeah.
Kind of the colorfulness of it.
Yeah, just I don't know, just the style of it. I just thought of Monsters Inc.
Well, it makes sense. He did do both. He might
Oh.
kind of his trademark stuff kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
Hello, Cat.
Yeah. Here we go with Cat again. Here,
Yeah,
and our cat named Monster is here to say hello.
Yeah. And yes, that's after Monsters Inc. She's getting old.
Yeah. So the other thing I wanted to say about it is, you had mentioned, Dan, that you had watched it 10 times already and all those kind of things.
Yeah.
I think there's one thing that's really rang true with me on this, which is not only have I watched this one a ton of times, and has it made me feel things repeatedly, whether it be emotions or whether it be just excitement. I guess that's an emotion still. But just viewing it and seeing it, I think the last little snippet that we got was the little teaser for the Sky Broadband commercial with Toy Story That Time Forgot. And I can't even tell you, I rewatched that again today. After I watched this one for Inside Out, I went back and watched that too. I just can't get over Raygon and, burn the offerings and
The Weefy.
the Weefy. I know. It's just I just can't get over the excitement that I have for Pixar, and I feel like just this weight is going to be lifted. And I've heard people say things like, everybody's complaining that Pixar's doing sequel, and then all of a sudden they see this and they're like, hey, we're all excited about it. But it's like, the person said, stay in your lane. You either like them or you don't. Or did we say that at the beginning of this? I can't even remember at this point. But I just thought it was really cool because the excitement that I have, the upliftingness, and I'm so excited that other people are feeling that as well, that we no longer just have to have this repeated discussion about Pixar has lost it, Pixar's not back, they're doing all these things. It's just so great that this could hopefully, just between the special coming and with Toy Story The Time Forgot and then the movie coming, I see the sands washing back out.
Well, how you explained that just now is exactly what I was trying to say earlier when I was saying I was reading the comments.
Yeah.
But like you said, you're either in and you're out. But all these people, everything is just so positive about this. But over the last couple of years, there's been almost only negative things about Pixar from so many people, and so it was just so great to see. Even though people are just so on and off the fence, which is frustrating, it was so refreshing to see so many positive vibes out there for this.
Yeah, and it was so cool that it was trending on Twitter today as well.
Oh yeah, that was neat.
I mean, I was really excited. I kept pulling up Twitter and I was refreshing it, and all of a sudden I saw it. Boom! It was like #1, right underneath a promoted Chevy truck one. So
I think the year break really did something. It's really getting people excited for Pixar again.
Yeah, I was noticing some other people's comments that were going, wait, there wasn't one in 2014. Like, it's almost like some people that were more casual fans were just realizing this and coming to this understanding.
I saw people that were saying, oh, there was one in 2014, Planes 2. I had to comment on a couple of them just to, I had to clear things up.
Oh, of course. I answered some too. You can see comments from Pixar Post on The Verge's article. I commented on Oh My Disney on that site and everything. So yeah, absolutely, we're out there too.
No, I had explained that to my choir director that Planes was not a Pixar movie.
Us Pixar fans have to explain that to just about everybody.
Everybody has to explain that to everybody. Pixar employees have to explain it. Pixar fans have to explain it. And you can't, hate to say it, but for the casual fan, you can't really blame them.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's true. It's confusing.
Right. So, okay, well, that about wraps up what I think we were talking about. But any final closing comments, Dan?
No, I'm excited for this movie. As I've said before, I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm excited to see more. And I'm excited, like you said, for more Pixar. That Time Forgot 2 months from today. Just a little shout out.
Absolutely. I love it. Fantastic. And then, Lauren, how about any final thoughts for yourself?
No, I'm excited. Plus, we're getting 2 new films in 2015, which I think I'm most excited about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Me too. Dinosaurs.
Yeah.
All right. Julie, any closing thoughts on Inside Out?
No, just like I said, super excited to see new techniques, to hear what they're doing, maybe new rendering software that they're using. So I can't wait to hear more about those behind-the-scene nitty-gritty details.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, well, that about wraps up this discussion for the Inside Out first teaser trailer. Of course, as the next trailer comes around, be sure to join us again. And if you're watching this or live, or if you're watching this after the fact, as it'll automatically upload as soon as we stop the broadcast to our YouTube channel, be sure to next week as well on October 8th, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Pacific. Join us right here again at Google Hangout for our book club discussion where we're going to talk about The Art of Wall-E. So be sure to join us for that. We're going to dig into all those pages like I talked about at the top of the hour. We're going to get into all the details of that book. And then also tomorrow, the next episode of our Pixar podcast releasing, so be sure to head to our website, click on, of course, pixarpost.com, the podcast tab, and or the book club tab, and you'll be able to hear for the podcast our next interview with Angelique Reich from Pixar's lighting department. So very exciting. So thank you again to Dan the Pixar Fan. Be sure to visit his website at danthepixarfan.com, or was that Pixar Fan Dan? I always screwed up. It's Dan the Pixar Fan.
It is now, yeah.
danthepixarfan.com. And Lauren, thank you very much. Longtime reader. We've been talking for a long time. Really appreciate you coming on. And we tried to have you on before, but timing didn't work out. So glad that we were able to make that up and have you on this time. So thanks again.
You're welcome.
Yep, and signing off as usual for PixarPost.com, I'm TJ.
And I'm Julie.
And be sure to stay tuned to PixarPost.com all week for the latest Pixar news. Bye.